Ooh. Hello, everyone. Hello, Velek. I think that's how you pronounce it. I just finished watching your mouth-washing from a few months ago. It was great fun seeing you figure stuff out. I appreciate that. Is that the Velek I think it is? Let me just double-check. It is. Hello. I sometimes tune into your streams here and there. I don't type anything, but here and there. I appreciate your support. Yeah. I think we have two Irish people in the chat right now. Then that means Sky and Velek. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Hey, fan for a fan then, if that makes sense, because I'm a big fan of your of you, so to say. All right, let's move to the yapping screen for now, at least. There we go. And yeah, I was playing, or I am playing 14 music. I'm a bit of a veteran. I'll say that much. So some of my friends are too. Let's see. Yes, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Skylight mentioned it publicly before. Let's put some other music on for now. Let's see. Yeah, this will do. I don't want it too loud, though. Let's see. There we go. Could you actually contact me again? Bro logs in for his house. True. I started playing Heaven's Sword and have been hooked since, bounced between WoW and 14. Hell yeah. I started in early Stormblood myself. I'll probably get back into it soon. I've been slacking with it, so to say. But yeah, I do these streams here and there. Like, I've been beginning to do them. Sometimes I play random games, but at the moment I'm doing like scripting and stuff for the next video. I don't really promote them that much, so not many people know I do them, but I should probably do that. Yeah, you've been saying that since 7.1. I know I have. I know. But 7.0 is just nah. I refuse to associate with the West Brits. That's hilarious. Well, I'm in the East Midlands. Right, let's see. Okay. Hopefully the stream doesn't go down. I do need to get round to getting a more stable connection soon, because yesterday we had a few hiccups, but I think we're fine. I don't know why it says ending on the screen. I just realised I have my ending text up. You can see I'm a professional fucking streamer right here. Look at that. Alright. There we go. It's not there anymore. Let's see. Boom. There we go. That's the setup we've got going right now. I added a GIF in the background. So it doesn't look so static when I leave things alone. Also, I've got double audio. There we go, I fixed that, my bad. Right. Right, where were we yesterday? It was right here. Almost done with this draft. Bloody hell. Getting there, slowly. And then as soon as I finish this draft, it's done. And then when I publish this video, people are going to say, oh, it's only 2 hours long, shit. And I'm going to be like, yeah, but hey, you should see how much editing is going to go into this one. It's going to be crazy. And then by the end of the year, there'll be another massive one. Draftma. I love these puns people come up with. I blame Jonah. Jonah is like the progenitor of the puns made out of my name. What's that? Yeah, like when I started the channel, I was like, "Damn, should I call myself Dogma?" Because I mean, people already know this, but the alias comes from Dragon's Dogma, which is the first one, not the second one. The second one's mid, but it's from the first one. So I kind of just used it because it's one of my favorite games. But the name Dogma, it's not very SEO friendly. Right, if you just look up the name or the word Dogma on YouTube, you're not going to see my channel unless you type like the full name in, which is Dogma Forever. That's the full thing. But I don't think you even see it then. But yeah, but that's fine because I actually like the name and it's very simple. The second one is good until you reach the end game, which sucks. Yep. Yeah. So Dragon's Dogma 2 is it's not a disappointment because it's genuinely a good game, but the end game is just it is just straight up bad, and it made me just so disappointed. But I still wrote a positive review, so. Second one's endgame is mid, early and mid game is peak. Yeah, I agree. The exploration in Dragon's Dogma 2 is so good. It is amazing. It reminded me of Elden Ring and like how like the discoverability and stuff like that, and like the sense of awe that you get. Dragon's Dogma 2 was really good at that. Dragon's Dogma 1's open world was so bad, but everything else about Dragon's Dogma 1 was so good. The combat in Dragon's Dogma 1 and the end game in Dragon's Dogma 1 was just it was peak. Like Bitter Black Isle was peak. If Dragon's Dogma 2 had like a proper endgame akin to Dragon's Dogma 1's, it would be one of the best RPGs of last year. Was it last year or the next year after, or the year before that? I think it was last year. Yeah. Okay. I do have some videos we can watch whilst I'm scripting today. One of them is a Clemps video. Like we watched some yesterday. We watched his Dragon God video, and I tore it. I didn't tear it to pieces because I do love his videos, but I was correcting him on a lot of things. Hopefully, I'm not going to do that this time around. I'm going to hold myself back a bit because this one's about Dragon God 2, which I don't like really that much. So I won't have many things to say compared to the ones that he's the Dragon God 1, whatever. Right. So, yeah. I've got my notes here so I can start writing at least. Have you played Fear and Hunger? I have played Fear and Hunger, and I've played Termina as well, Fear and Hunger Termina. I love Termina to death. Fear and Hunger 1's also really good. Yeah. I think I prefer Termina much more than 1, though. Like, aesthetic-wise, I think, like, the World War One aesthetic or like the Industrial Revolution aesthetic of Termina, of Fear and Hunger Termina, is just, I love it to death. And I'm excited for the next update. Because I finished most endings of the game, I think. Or not most of them. Like 2 or 3 of them. And then I just didn't play more. But, yeah. Okay, let's see. Right, so first video, I do like to. The reason why I do it like this, and I don't full screen it, is very simple. I just like to have the channel name up and the title of the video up, so people know what we're watching, so they can support it if they want to. But yeah, okay, let's just start this. I guess this is about Dragon God 2. If you guys haven't watched my Dragon God 1 video, I recommend it. It's my best video in my opinion. If you don't want to, you don't need to. We're just here to chill. Not many people join these streams because I don't promote them much. But hey, if you're here, it's literally just me scripting the next video, which is almost done. But yeah. They use the same voice actor for Angelus in Dragon God 2, I think.
Where do I even begin with this one? Okay, Drakengard 2 is a thing that exists. It's not Drakengard though. I mean, it looks like Drakengard, plays like Drakengard, hell, it even smells like Drakengard, but it doesn't feel like Drakengard. Concerns were immediately set off at a young age when I looked at the front cover. Oh.
Fun fact, the 12 plus is only in the European copy of the game. I think in the NA it's rated 17 plus. I don't have much interesting commentary today. I've been successfully dragged back into the Deltarune hole thanks to... I've got through half of the full release of Deltarune so far. It's pretty fun.
No. At least this means the video will be a little bit more lighthearted, right? What's interesting about this is how Square Enix published the game in Japan and Ubisoft published it in North America and Europe. So what happened there? Now, this isn't to say that the game is inherently bad, and I'm always ready to give credit where credit is due. It's not a horrible game by any means, and I'd go as far to say I love some of the things they included, which really flesh out the universe a bit more. It's just a shame they decided to play it as safe as they could to make it appeal to as many people as possible, and even put Yoko Taro on the sidelines, though his creative input...
I know I shit on Yoko Taro's writing style sometimes, especially in my critiques for Nier Replicant, but their biggest mistake for Dragon God 2 was not having him involved at all.
But still made it into the game at some points. Instead, the game was directed by Akira Yasui, who directed such other classics like...
There you go. That should be fine.
Was this game a successful directorial debut? Not really. It doesn't really feel like it's based in the same world, going from a bleak, depressing landscape to a mediocre fantasy land with blue skies and colourful environments. You know, for the most part. On that note, the soundtrack they decided to stick with is a huge shift from the original game's OST. Now, the soundtrack to Drakengard 1 isn't exactly something you'd call a tasty jam.
Disagree.
Or anything you'd pick up ladies and gents at the club to, but it fit the tone
I love the soundtrack for Drakengard.
The Drakengard 2 soundtrack kind of sums up a majority of the game for me. It's just kind of there, going on in the background. An easy way for me to describe my feelings towards these two games is this. Drakengard 1 is tonally very similar to the Berserk manga/anime.
Drakengard 2 kind of feels like Peter Jackson's Hobbit films. It may be
That is
a
yeah.
thing depending on your preferences.
That's a good comparison.
Let's dig in, and hopefully I can articulate my opinions about why this was such a disappointment without coming across as someone who loves to rip into a game for shits and giggles. Just because I wasn't a huge fan of the game doesn't mean if you like or love the game, your opinions mean any less. This is purely my viewpoint, and it shouldn't be taken as anything other than that.
The game begins.
Yeah, Velek, I agree. The thing is about Drakengard 1 though, and why I love the soundtrack, is because it wasn't like made to be like music. It was made to be like the sounds of the game itself, if that makes sense. But I'm a fucking weirdo, and I sometimes just sit down and listen to the whole thing because I don't know. I like it somehow I like it, but yeah.
And we delivered some exposition loosely explaining the events of Drakengard 1. If you want to know more about what happens in that game, click this link and check out a video I made explaining the whole thing.
It's 18 years after Angela sacrificed herself to become the next seal, and despite them showing clips from this ending, it's been confirmed that Drakengard 2 takes place in a timeline very similar to the events of Ending A.
Yeah, so the thing is about Drakengard 2 and like the connection to Ending A, a lot of people think that that it is the continuation of Ending A from Drakengard 1, which actually isn't true at all. It's like a separate universe sourced from the happenings of Ending A of Drakengard, if that makes sense. Because there are things different in Drakengard 2. If it was to follow from Drakengard 1, it would make sense. It's Kaim's mental state. Yeah, it's like Kaim's mental state, basically. Like, it's the orchestration of chaos, is what I say about it.
Why didn't they make it a continuation from Ending A? Fuck if I know. It's here that we're introduced to our main character, Noe, and his childhood friend, Eris.
One of the interesting things the first game did was take away the main character's voice. It allowed us to read what Kaim was thinking by listening to Angelus or watching his facial expressions in cutscenes.
And before people misunderstand what I'm saying, I don't have a problem with characters having voices in games. It just works very well for Drakengard. So when I heard this...
Eris, what's the point of the royal jewels anyway? Why waste time fighting with our allies?
I was a
Yeah, hitting massive numbers in the combos in Drakengard was fucking so fun.
little disappointed. This is a nitpick, and Noe having a voice wouldn't be a bad thing if they wrote a good script and directed their voice actors better. Noe has the insufferable ability to ask questions non-stop because the...
I keep pausing, but hey, if you don't want me to keep pausing, watch the video yourself. Anyway, I don't like Noe as a protagonist. I don't like him. I think he is insufferable and boring. But that's just me. Compared to Kaim, who does appear in Drakengard 2, but compared to Kaim, he is just so forgettable. But yeah.
Players are too stupid to guess things for themselves. Begin montage.
Is this a district? What's this? Eris, what's going on? What do the people have to do with the key? But why? What are the districts anyway? Is this one of the lieutenants who guards the districts? What's it like in the district of Soul Flame? Is that the district of Soul Flame?
After going through a tutorial teaching us all of the new gameplay mechanics, such as the ability to launch enemies with your sword or being able to recover mid-fall, which is a pretty neat inclusion, we're introduced to the Knights of the Seal, or more specifically the current leader, General Gizmor. Gizmor was the next general after Noe's adoptive father, Auror, was killed by a one-eyed man in the field of battle. So Gizmo is all 1v1 me fucking noob, and we promptly wreck his shit, causing him to summon a whole platoon of soldiers for us to fight.
Is he gonna be the baddie?
Come on, what do you think?
Well done, Noe.
Also, I complimented the voice acting for Drakengard 1 because I do think it's pretty good, but in Drakengard 2 the voice acting is just not it. It's just shit. Well, it's not shit, but it's like, I don't know, it's so like boring and just monotone. And unlike in Drakengard 1, if a character was speaking monotone, like the priestess, like if she was speaking the way like she spoke, like, a lot of people would meme on it, but it's meant to be that way. In this game, they're just... Yeah, exactly. It's corny. Yeah, it's like generic fantasy anime protagonist, basically. A lot of the time in this game it is. Like, Drakengard 2 is just such a weird game. It's unlike any other Dragon...
There's no one left in our village. You have become a formidable swordsman.
What? Is an American accent not good enough now that you're the hierarch? What would George Washington say? Let's take a minute to talk about these cutscenes. I have a hard time calling them that. Can I just call them screenshots? What I find really puzzling is in some scenes they're moving freely, but then in others they're so stiff you'd think it's a still image. But it's not, as the next scene shows. So they just left
So
the
weird.
models completely stationary. If this was for budgetary reasons, I'd understand it, but if it wasn't, then was it a stylistic choice, or was it plain lazy? Did most for budget go on the fucking sparks, cause they look pretty good. Gold star. Now what would a Drakengard game be without a dragon? This CG cutscene introduces us to the sequel's dragon, Legna, Noe's original adoptive parent by circumstance and guardian. There's something I'm noticing about your name there, buddy. Kinda looks like you spell angel backwards. Oh, that is what you did. Legna's pretty great. He's one part of a game that kept me smiling
Honestly, yeah.
because his dialogue is fun, and whoever they
His
got to
voice
voice
actor
him
is
does
actually
a
good.
fantastic job, which reinforces my idea that good voice acting can make or break a character. He shares similar characteristics to Angelus in that he's a proud member of his race who holds himself higher than the other natives on Midgard. So now we have Legna, we can experience the aerial combat. At first glance, it's the same as Drakengard 1, but if you start to look a bit closer, something has changed. Something very important. They removed the weight. Controlling Legna is comparable to a paper aeroplane. As you can see here, his movements are very sharp, which can make controlling him a teensy bit disorientating. They had the dragon movements sorted in the original. Why did they decide to do this? Ground combat with the dragon has improved immensely. In the original, you could only fly on a set height, which didn't really make that much sense, but in the second, you can go fucking
Yeah, broken,
everywhere.
I agree.
You can also go into first-person mode, which makes shooting scattered enemies much easier. Angelus's widespread fire attack has been replaced with overdrives, which trigger a small cutscene where Legna tears up house and causes a bit of a mess. We meet back up with Eris and gain her as a playable character. The companion system is necessary in Drakengard 2, as Noe can only wield swords, Eris can only wield spears,
The combat in
etc.,
Drakengard
etc. Some
2...
enemies are only weak to spears.
The combat in Drakengard 2 is better. It has to be better. You can't get... I said this yesterday and I said that in my video, but you can't get worst combat, quote unquote, than Drakengard 1 because, you know, it's a bit not... It's not that good. So it's obviously going to be better in Dragon God 2, which it is.
Attack, so changing to the other characters is basically necessary to progress unless you like slogging through a boring HP bar for a minute or two.
After destroying the monsters, we get to the district. Within the districts are the keys, which are put in place in order to protect the surrounding lands and are split up into 5 different places around the world. Each one of these keys are protected by a pack partner. However, the guardian of this district is missing.
I wonder if that'll come into play later.
This crusty old bugger wants to be let out of a jail cell he's contained in, but Eris explains that he's a remnant.
A lot of people, like, it's just hit me. Like, I had a lot of comments, or not a lot. I had like at least like a few comments on my Dragon God video that were like, "Please cover Dragon God 2," and I'm pretty sure I said in the video itself somewhere that I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to. Like, this game is just so, it's not boring, it's not interesting to me, not really anyway. I think the endings are pretty good in this game, to be honest. I think Kaim's edition in this game is pretty good too. But even despite those things, I just don't find this game like worthy enough to like invest all my time into to make a video, you know? But yeah.
Of the old empire, who are now being punished for almost ending the world 18 years ago and are now being used as sacrifices whose lives are slowly being drained to protect the districts.
Noe still questions this because we, the player, need to know that he's such a good guy, even if they pinch our nose and force it down our throat. Returning to the Knights of the Seal gives us an intro to 3 important characters, the Guardians. We have Danny DeVito, Tomoko, and Seymour Guardo.
Sir Zhangpo, you would do well to follow orders.
Lady Yuna, the Aeons. Well, goodness me, there's some issues down at the district of Soulflame. Guess it's time to take its guardian, Danny DeVito, with us and see what all the ruckus is about.
You're late for the party.
Yeah, the combat in Dragon God 1, yeah, I think overall Dragon God 2's combat was better, but in Dragon God 1 it felt more like meaty, if that makes sense, because the Dragon God 1 is very violent. Well, not very, but it's got a lot of blood. But yeah.
Children, I hope you weren't loitering.
Which reinforces my idea that good voice acting can make or break a character.
But we have to get inside and make sure the key is safe. Right, you lot, go on ahead and be quick about it.
What? You want us to go in there? Walk through the fog? Frodo!
But the war with the Empire was years ago. We can't keep punishing them.
Please wait.
Lady Mana. It's Lady Mana.
Lady Mana. It's Lady Mana.
Oh my god, that's fucking disgusting.
Mana, the little girl
wait,
from the
let me just check. Yeah, so the other video he made also had extremely outdated humor. So does this one. This video is 9 years old.
This game is back, and the 18 years have matured are like fine wine. In Drakengard 2, she's trying to repent for the sin she committed 18 years ago by freeing the peasants who are slaves to the districts and their guardians. She believes by doing so, it'll bring peace and equality to the land, but, you know, she could at least attempt to sound a little excited by this.
I have some knowledge of the black magic arts. A one-eyed man. No. Help me.
Storm the gate!
All right.
Yeah, so her voice actor is genuinely bad. I'm not sure if it was direction or just her being a bad voice actor, but I'm going to replay it, because look, listen to this.
A one-eyed man. No. Help me.
Storm the gate!
All right.
Like,
Mana and Zhangpo
yeah,
and Mana
yeah.
taunts him over his pack price. His
It's
ability to
bad.
eat. Zhangpo ends up losing despite having Ifrit as a fucking pack partner who never bothered to show up, I'm guessing because it was cut from the final game. As the key is destroyed, Zhangpo is destroyed with it. A guardian has their life bound to the key, which makes protecting it personal.
Damn! Do I really have to go?
Oh no, you can stay, not like your life is in danger or anything, you chuckle fuck. Mana decides to have a little sleepy, so the knights capture her and promptly send her to be executed.
Dumbledore said calmly.
You fucking bitch!
incredible! Mana manages to break free and some of the peasants attempt to free her by airship, but we shoot her down with Legna. Whilst we're away chasing Mana, something completely unsurprising happens as the game shows us Gizmor planning to get rid of Noe, just like he did his adoptive father, Auror. Noe accepts an invitation to meet with Gizmor out of a false pretense of having a cheeky drink, but instead of gulping down a nice glass of wine, he chugs down some high-quality poison. So this is where the actual plot
Yeah,
starts.
it gets a bit
Noe has
anime.
abandoned a traitor by the Knights for brutally attacking Gizmor and tries to escape to Legna for a quick getaway.
Noe, turn yourself in. You have a chance to be charged for a lesser crime.
I'm sorry, Eris. No. I won't go back.
Tell her you were poisoned by Gizmor.
Goodbye, Eris.
What's all the fuss, my boy? What have you done?
Legna, I can't stay here anymore. We have to fly. Fly far away.
I wasn't planning on eloping with you just yet.
I really love Legna. He's the best character in Drakengard 2, and his voice actor is fucking amazing. I don't know. I love this. I love him. I love him to death. And he's in Drakengard 1. Spoiler alert, but it gets revealed anyway, and I even said it in my video. Legna is Inuart's dragon from Drakengard 1. Yeah. The one that didn't speak at all.
Anyways, I'm gonna fast forward past a ton of filler and drop us off where Noe escapes with Legna to her old home in the mountains, which is where Legna first found Noe, alone and feral. Oh yeah, Legna changed forms. What the hell was going on there? They arrived, but the Knights predicted they would escape there for safety and ambushed them.
This way.
But who is that mind-numbingly bland voice I hear? Why, it's Mana who's come to save the day.
That woman. She's taken Noe. You saved my life.
You saved mine.
Shut up and let's go.
Yeah, I fucking love Legna. He's great.
So Mana joins the party and she's going to be your main...
Yeah, I agree,
in the
Broken.
playthrough.
Like, the main issue with Drakengard 2 is that it broke away from what Drakengard 1 was, to, like, appeal to, like, as many people as possible, to get as many sales as possible. And one way of doing that was not involving Yoko Taro, which, yeah, bad idea.
Weapons have unique spells, just like how Kaim's weapon did in the original.
I'm sure you
Instead
will,
of
Chris, I'm
side
sure you
rolling
will.
to avoid damage, she does a little cartwheel. I'm embarrassed to admit how much fun I had with this. Mana introduces Noe to a town who has suffered under the Knights to open his eyes a little about the suffering of the people.
Open your eyes, my beautiful child.
Hey, listen, Mum. Ooh, I'm just fucking with you. Can I call you Mum? Okay, you know, I died for a reason. You know, bad genetics runs in the family and everything. See you later. Peace.
Noe decides to tag along with Mana and becomes a freedom fighter because why not? This time they head to the district of Hollowed Water and come face to face with its guardian, Hunch. Hunch used to be a child loved by all who met her and had a smile brighter than the sun. However, one time whilst out on a lake with her friends, her boat capsized, almost drowning her in the process. She was forced to make a pact with a Kelpie, sacrificing her charm in the process, meaning that no one would approach
Hear
her
me out.
voluntarily.
Sorry.
I guess it's really not her fault she isn't popular. The game makes it out that she's an unattractive creep, but going by the official art, I don't know. Maybe I have bad taste. Hunch lets it slip that she was the one who had the idea to poison Noe and Auror. Noe gets understandably flustered about this and fights her to the death.
Tasted funny, did it? Made your head spin, did it?
Oh, it does sound like,
But as you
is
can
it
see
Merkel?
here,
I forgot her
had
name.
no idea I could use Legna during this fight. I must have died about 3 times finding this out.
It hurts. I'm finished. I'm done for. I don't want to die. No. 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 It never used to be like this. I used to be so happy.
Everyone loved me.
What happened? What happened?
Storm. The darkness. It's coming to swallow me up.
What's this? Am I feeling some kind of empathy towards a seemingly evil character? Am I feeling sad right now? This is Drakengard, it is still in there somewhere. Hunch dies miserably and the key to the district is destroyed, allowing the rivers in the land to flow again. Before they have the chance to fly to the next one, they're interrupted by Eris.
All I know right now is that I can never go back to the Knights of the Seal. Never.
You commit one crime after another. But why?
Tell her you were poisoned by Gizmo, you fucking idiot! The duo are now in search for a member of the Knights who abandoned the Order a long time ago to help them in their journey. They are told to go to the city of Rust where the man was last seen. When they get to the city, Noe wanders around the empty streets asking for information. If you ever return to the city on a free mission, you can hear some interesting dialogue, including some information regarding a former character we once knew.
Some time ago, can't recall when exactly, a blind man came to this town, but he acted really strangely around the kids in the town.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder I wonder who that is referring to. Yep.
After finding themselves in quite the pickle with a few bounty hunters, a masked man drops in out of nowhere to save them.
If you're gonna play this game, Alex,
I guess the sight of
don't
his
play this
monster
game.
clock was enough to scare them away because they flee with their tails between their legs.
Can't argue with that.
Sky's reaction.
Oh, I was kind of expecting his face to be a big reveal, but I guess not. What the hell. This is our new companion and axe user, Yurik. Once a member of the Knights and was a close friend to Noe and Eris. He warns a party to make a
Yurik's cool, I like Yurik.
Sending more forces and the appearance of a one-eyed man, who, if you've forgotten,
I saw a blonde man recently, like hanging around the playground.
In a game where things start getting interesting. The group are blocked by a large group of knights when suddenly... Who's that?
Oh shit!
Who could that be?
Oh shit! Damn!
Yeah!
Damn! Damn!
There he is.
Holy shit!
It's my boy!
They even made it bassy too.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Dude, Kime Guts is like the best guts.
Having a giggle.
Yeah, he's really good.
Kime literally appears and aura farms instantly by like killing 10 soldiers with one swipe of his sword. He's fucking great.
That was sick. That was actually pretty fucking cool.
The entire build up.
Help me.
She sounds so loud.
Help me.
You're late for the party, children.
Is this one of the lieutenants who guards the district?
Well done, Noe. You have become a formidable swordsman.
This stream VOD just got copyrighted to death from that.
It's time to admit something. I've been keeping secrets from you. Throughout the game have been short, scattered cutscenes involving Angelus telepathically communicating with Kime, but this is the first time we've seen him in the flesh. We're still unsure of his motive by this point, but we're led to assume it has something to do with Angelus. I'll bring everyone up to speed of what Kime has been up to for the past 18 years. After Angelus became the Seal, he made it his personal mission to bring Mana to every location she destroyed so she could repent for what she did and see how the people suffered. After a while, Kime grew attached to Mana, but Mana broke free, stabbing him in the leg and blinding him in one eye, giving him his nickname of the One-Eyed Man. This caused him to flip his shit and go full guts mode, and is now on a
Wait, let me replay that.
grew attached to Mana so she could repent for what she did.
I forgot
He
how
made it
this
his
goes.
Personal mission to bring Mana to every location she destroyed so she could repent for what she did and see how the people suffered. After a while, Kime grew attached to Mana, but Mana broke free, stabbing him in the leg and blinding him in one eye, giving him his nickname of the One-Eyed Man. This caused him to
Okay, I'm not sure if that's that is kind of characteristic of Kime to do that. Yeah, it makes sense.
his shit and go full guts mode and is now on a different mission, but I'll cover that later. The trio flee from Kaim and continue their mission to the next district.
Another pact partner must be guarding this district.
Judging by Yurik's response, we're led to assume that he and Yaha had a past and is something he'd rather not revisit. When we reach the end of the fortress, our old friend Seymour Guado is there to greet us.
But sadly, as the guardian of the District of Precious Light, I am duty-bound to defend it from those who would destroy it. We must fight.
This fight. Oh my god, this fight. I died oh so many times during this goddamn fight. So much so that Mana was elevated nearly 10 levels above everyone else. Yaha has made a pact with the gnomes. How he managed to make a pact of more than one creature still remains a mystery unless they work as a collective hive mind. He made this pact to be more alluring to Yurik, who he loved as a young man. However, the pact had the opposite effect he desired, as he was able to attract anyone except Yurik, who was immune to his charms, possibly because he used them on him once before, only driving him away in the process. The pact increased his good looks, however, it took away his ability to feel pleasure. Kill the gnomes, hit the Christmas tree, repeat. Kill the gnomes, kill the Christmas— oh bloody hell, Jesus Christ! Disposing of the gnomes kills Yaha, meaning we only have 2 more keys left to destroy. Go to the far plane, my friend. Back to the City of Rust for more filler bullshit.
You want to know about the districts? I was listening to the Knights talking. Seems like they were chasing some bloke who knows a secret behind the districts. They say he's hiding out in the closed land.
The informant said that the guy hiding out in the closed land has information about the next district.
I'll return to this line later and explain why it frustrates me so much. Eris is back and yandere as ever, so we fast forward and oh, Kaim is here! After Mana's Kaim sensors go into overload, Noe tells us what we already know and they decide the best thing to do is to continue fleeing. Eris gets in the way again and drops the ultimate cockblock by telling Noe that it was Mana who almost destroyed the world 18 years ago.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Like, do I have to say anything for that? For this fucking delivery, dude? I'm sorry. I'm saying sorry. She sounds sarcastic. It's so bad.
Yeah, you sound it. Noe attempts to defend Mana, but Legna, ever the voice of reason, wants this game to be over as fast as I do.
That man, he made me promise. Kaim said that I wasn't allowed to forget.
Kaim, the one-eyed man. The one who saved the world 18
I'm
years
so
ago.
sorry, Tihi Uwu.
The one who later attacked the seal and killed my father, Oral.
Oh my god, we know!
But why?
Mana leaves the party for now, so it's up to Noe and Yurik to destroy the next key. They land at their destination, but Kaim beat them to it and has kidnapped Mana. Get your filthy hands off my wife, who will so pay the consequences! It turns out that Kaim was hunting Yurik this whole time, so they have a little scrap whilst Noe attempts to rescue Mana, who was taken by the Knights while he was distracted like a fucking child. Yurik makes it out okay, which the game kinda skims over, and we chase Mana down to the Knights of the Seal headquarters. Here's where Noe meets General Gizmore again, only now as enemies. This boss fight was a welcome break to mindless slaughter because it focuses on a 1v1 sword fight. If the game had a bit more budget, I'd say these type of boss battles could be pretty fantastic, but for now we have to make do with the clunky mechanics. We defeat Gizmore and rescue Mana before her execution, and now that we have Mana back, we can continue towards the next key in the District of Shining Life. When we reach the key, Kaim is already there waiting for us, and Yurik sheds some light on why he's being hunted. Yurik is the missing pack partner guardian of the district, and Kaim wishes to kill him for an unsaid reason. Yurik ran away from the battlefield before he left the Knights, which led to General Auror being killed by Kaim. He made a pact with the Reaper of the surrounding area, who took away his ability to die. Seeking death ever since, he willingly brought Noe and Mana to the district in order to end his life permanently. However, and I said I'd talk about this bit later, why did we need an informant if the Guardian is with us? Why is the Guardian of the district asking where the district is?
When I die, the key will also be destroyed. This is the only way.
Yurik, stand back! He's mine.
I think our reunion was fate. Or something like it.
This made the game worth it for me.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, the Kaim boss fight in Dragon God 2 is fucking great, and the music that plays is amazing. Yeah, I'm glad that Kaim was like made into an antagonist for Drakengard 2, because it kind of shows just how different he is from the other like RPG protagonists. Like, yeah, compared to like other people, like he's incredibly just fucked up. And Noe is like a pretty morally good character. When I say good, I mean like morally, not like written. So yeah, I'm glad that they did it like this.
All of the pointless shit that we've been sifting through has been worth it for this fight. Kaim is handled perfectly in the sequel, and him being an antagonist in this game comes as no surprise.
Yeah, literally what I just said.
Although I'd much rather be playing as a manic.
I don't know why I was yapping. You just said the same thing.
Well, it's like a hug. Beating Kaim gives us a cutscene where Yurik gets in the way of a killing blow, and as the name would suggest, is killed. The Reaper resurrects him, but Kaim manages to kill death itself before Yurik pushes him over the edge into the dark abyss below. Yurik's passing means that we only have one more key to go, which is located in the District of Heavenly Time.
My boy.
Also, you heard that correctly. Kaim just killed death. He just killed him. Like, just, yeah, I guess.
Where is that joker?
Yurik died to free the District of Shining Life.
I see. Well, that lightens my load.
Everything's going smoothly till Legna takes a bullet to the wing. He crash lands and we're forced to go on foot till Legna's wing is healed. Surprise, surprise, when we eventually get to the end of this level, it leads us straight to Eris and Gizmo.
No way. You're still with her.
Well yeah, Gizmo poisoned me. Haven't I told you that yet?
Damn fool! I will not be defeated by the likes of you!
Oh my god, he's a heartless!
It ends now!
Wait, did she get forced in front of him? I can't remember. Wait.
Eris dies, only not really. I say that because even after she died, I was still getting spears from the extra mission, so the game kinda spoiled itself. Yurik is dead for good though, so say goodbye to axes for the rest of the playthrough.
Nano, is that you? It's me, Sari. Wait, Mana, don't go! I'm not the enemy!
Can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe you should listen to Sere. Oh well, on we go to General Gizmo, who turns out to be the guardian of the final key. Gizmo made a pact with a shade, causing him to lose his body in the process. And I have a few questions about this. Why does he have a body here, but loses it when he's attacked? Why didn't he lose it here? Did his skin fall off? The final fight between Noe and Gizmo is pretty fun. He telegraphs his attack via the lasers in the floor, meaning you have enough time to react and dodge. It's almost like Gizmo doesn't care if you defeat him. Like defeating him is a really, really bad idea. Maybe you should have listened to Sero.
You look upon me just as Auror did. It is the look of a man who knows only hope. Only hope. You disgust me. If the world will not be my plaything, I don't care what you do with it.
What?
Soon enough, you'll realize the justice you hold so dear is nothing but a lie.
Never
never bother you, never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Ha-ha!
Alright, this is pretty dope. So, big twist. The keys we were destroying were actually the seals, keeping Angelus from getting free. The people who were sacrificing their lives in order to power the districts were actually suffering for a good cause, so we kinda fucked things up for everyone. Nice going, Mana! Apparently the pain that the ex-hierarch Verdley put her under was enough to break her mind, so now her vendetta against humans is bigger and more explosive than ever. We track her down to a familiar location from the first game, the abandoned Union Castle. Upon reaching the end, we're met with none other than Kime, and his intentions are finally revealed. He wanted to destroy the seals in order to see Angelus one last time, so we're going down the route in which Kime...
Yeah, Drakengard 1 had
Angelus
some
is too far gone to
translation
recognize him,
issues
so
as
he
well.
flies off to set the world on fire, causing Kime to send Legna a message.
From Kime?
Kill Angelus. Death will be a blessing for Angelus and I, he says. Kill Angelus, my boy.
Man rides a black dragon.
Did we get her?
I think so.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
This scene is one of the better done scenes in the game. Angelus has come to her senses and finally remembers her pact partner, realizing how much the world must hate him since he tried to set her free. They share a short moment together before Angelus passes away. Angelus's death means that Kime will die alongside her, and after we see a short montage of the memories they shared, he turns to ash and disappears forever.
Is it over, Kime?
Well, you'd think the game is over now, right? Well, nope, we still have a bit more to go. Ugh. Kill me. The world has been brought back to the same state it was 18 years ago, which prompts Scooby-Doo and crew to search out Hierarch Sere, who might know a way to stop this. Mana is acting a little bit fishy, so it's probably better we hurry things up a bit. Legna suggests Sere might have flown to an ancient dragon temple which floats in the sky, and has been used countless times by dragons whenever a disaster like the incident 18 years ago occurs. It's here where we're introduced to the Holy Dragons, creatures who bear a striking resemblance to Mikhail from Drakengard 3, which makes me think of the same type of dragon. Legna brings Noe into the temple where something called the Book of Seeds tells him that he is a new breed. And to explain what a new breed is, it's a human-dragon hybrid. How the fuck did this happen, I hear you ask? Well, remember when Inuart brought Furiai to a seed of destruction in the first game? In this timeline, he was brought to an incredibly large seed called the Bone Casket, and entered it alongside Furiai. The seed fused them together and produced a baby. This baby was Noe. Since Inuart have made a pact with a dragon, Noe has a dragon's heart. It's also revealed that humans were created by the dragons, using the Seeds of Resurrections as a tool. Noe is the perfect weapon spawned by the Bone Casket, and is destined to fight the Watchers, or Nameless as they're called in this game. Well damn, looks like the plot...
Yeah, they don't even call the Watchers anymore, they just call them the Nameless. It's pretty lame. It can often make players seem darker than they are. So many dollars, yeah. Oh, and about the mistranslations. Yeah, I agree.
It's finally going somewhere unique. Oh yeah, Eris is alive. Hooray! She tells us that Sere is now located at a place called the Promised Land, but before we go there, Mana is...
You
will fight us. Foolish humans. Dragons.
Looks like the Watchers have repossessed Mana. How do we break her out of it this time, I hear you ask? You read that right.
Love me! Love me, please! Who are you?
Yeah, look at her, Jonah, look at her face this time around though. Look at that shit, dude.
Will you love me? I promise I'll be a really good girl.
Is it you that I seek? Is it I that you seek? Is it her? There is someone waiting for me.
So I'm guessing this is meant to represent Noe calling out to Mana's subconscious, and it's played out as this crazy fever dream, which is what I feel a sequel to Drakengard severely lacked. It's such a shame that Drakengard 2 has great moments like these scattered throughout, but still feel bogged down and pointless when you look at the game in its entirety. Noe gets through to Mana and she breaks free of the Watcher's grasp. just like that. Apparently all you needed to do was use the power of love, which I know all too well. Ooh, we got Eris back, but we've only got one more mission to complete, and that's in the sky, so thanks, I guess? Eris claims that Hierarch Sere has found another goddess, and that if he places the seal on her quickly, the world can still be saved. So, let's get this over with. Let's defeat the final boss. Upon reaching the Promised Land, Legna starts acting a little He tells Noe that he's nothing but an artifact and must obey the Book of Seeds, which is apparently the future set in stone. Noe decides to disagree with Legna and claims he's a human, despite not being human. Legna understandably gets a little bit irritated with Noe's shit and summons a humongous horde of holy dragons to start taking over Midgard. Here we see Sere actually being useful as he summons an army of golems to combat the dragon's attack. Sere tells the party that if the dragons were to take over Midgard, the future of humanity would be in a much worse state than if the Watchers were to continue ruling. So, yeah, we don't want that. Legna was only raising Noe in order to keep a close eye on him and raise him as a weapon. Noe smacks Legna for being a naughty boy, but Legna's having none of that shit, which allows Noe to finally awaken as a new breed.
Oh god, not this moment. I hate it. It's so bad.
No way.
It's so cringe.
Are you okay?
Can I have my personality back?
Now it burns me to be called a regular human being.
Yeah, bro, can I notice that too? The audio mixing in this game is pretty weird. It's all over the place.
I wish I could be your savior.
I do too.
I want to save you.
But she doesn't have a personality.
Why would you want to
save her?
Exactly. It's like fucking a bit of cardboard. Oh wait. Oh.
You're kissing
Oh.
the cardboard.
Oh fuck.
It tastes like mayonnaise. Oh, white people.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
God.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Oh fuck yeah!
Your dick's on
Like, they're like they said, she literally has no personality. Like, and neither does Noe, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. I just have no connection to these characters at all compared to like Kaim and Furiai and then you are like, yeah.
back.
Is that good for you?
He's gonna look down at his hand. I'm so fucked
He
up.
came so hard he turned into Jesus.
Man, I remember those days when I was young. I wish I could do that still.
Super Saiyan Blue Goku takes to the sky to take on Legna, who is now completely evolved into a holy dragon. There's a touching moment where Legna clearly has a soft spot for Noe, but in the end, it's too late. This fight...
Oh yeah, the background music for this fight here, I was originally going to use it for the end credits for my Nier video, but I didn't. I decided to do something else.
It has amazing potential, but sadly, it's incredibly awkward. Noe stopping to attack in midair kills the flow and makes the fight last much longer than it needs to be. I'll give it some credit though, the music. I'm going to make a bold statement and say this is one of my favourite tracks out of all three Drakengard games. It's beautiful, but the impact of the music is destroyed whenever Noe opens his stupid fucking mouth.
Legna! What happened to you? Legna, is this my only choice? Do I really have to fight you? You really raised me only to use me in the end. Why does it have to be this way? Why, Legna? Why? Oh no! Is he steadying himself to breathe fire at me?
It's the end of the game and you're still asking questions. Are you kidding me, dude?
Ah! Legna!
Noe kills Legna, but still thanks him for raising him. Legna scoffs at this and claims he's a sentimental fool, just like his father. And if we go back to the first game, you might recognise who Legna was. He was Inuart's original pact partner. Now here's where I get really disappointed. Instead of having CG cutscenes, they just use screenshots. They use regular pictures of a CG cutscene and use these instead of wasting more precious budget on animating a proper one. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, what are the endings to Drakengard 2? Well, don't get your hopes up. They aren't nearly as long or as exciting as the first games. The first ending reveals that all of the dragons are disappearing and that Eris is the new goddess. Noe is against the idea, but Eris is adamant to go through with it in order to save the world. She wanted to keep this secret from Noe because a goddess can't do things a normal human woman can do.
Such as sticking things in her pussy.
No cummies for you, cummies for you. June suck cock, bro. Eventually, Eris is branded with the
Christ.
and Mana and Noe discuss her future, both hoping they'll be able to see the day where Eris can lead the life of a normal woman again. The second ending involves us fighting the Bone Casket, which once it's broken out of its shell, attacks and absorbs mana. The gods are using mana as a last resort, and there's no other alternative but to destroy the Bone Casket, killing mana in the process. The loss of mana gives Noe the determination to join Legna as the dragon's weapon and attacks the Watchers head on. He and Eris are last seen flying with Legna and the Holy Dragons to bring this war straight to the gods themselves. And finally, the last ending, or as I like to call it, the...
So, fun fact about this moment right here, this is the only time in Drakengard 2 where you see the Watchers. You do not see them anywhere else. It's just this little bit here where you see them at the top coming out the clouds. You do not see them anywhere else.
To the gods themselves. And finally, the last ending, or as I like to call it, the reason why I'm not touching Drake.
This has to be an inspiration for Xenoblade's poster, by the way. I'm just saying. I doubt it, though. I doubt it, but maybe, I don't know.
Guard 2 for a long, long time. What I forgot to mention is that to get all the endings, you'll need to replay the entire game from the beginning in New Game Plus mode. Okay, that's not so bad, but you need to play the entire game again 3 times in a sentence.
Oh, trust me, it's probably not as bad as Nier Replicant when it comes to getting all the endings in that game. Yeah, that can be rough.
Difficulty to get the final ending, which is a fucking montage of the events that happened to us previously and a goddamn hand-holding scene. Are you taking the piss? Are you having a chuckle? 60 hours I put into this game. 60 hours I
Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad, actually. That is pretty bad.
Spent replaying the game 3 times just so I could see the events I've already seen and hand-holding? Oh look, there's a dragon. Guess they aren't gone after all. Oh god, that took longer than I thought it would. Right, do I recommend Drakengard 2? Man, that's a tough question. I guess if you're deeply invested in the series and want to see the weird direction they decided to take, then yes, you should absolutely play it. I can't
yeah, but the Nier Automata endings are pretty, or the playthroughs for it are varied enough for it to not be a pain like Replicant was. Not as much as a pain, at least. Like, Automata's playthroughs are different every time, pretty much, as far as I remember. Like, you play as different characters. Unlike in Replicant, where you always play as Nier, except for in the very, very final moments of the entire game where you play as Kaine.
Promise you you'll enjoy it, but there are clearly people who do, and I don't have a single problem with that. Overall, my disappointment stems from the fact that it's not a good Drakengard sequel. It looks cheaper, they decided to tone things down so children can play it, and whenever I hear people talking about Drakengard, it's never about how child-friendly the story is. What attracted most people I've spoken to is the dark method of storytelling. I mean, the game wasn't perfect. Hell, it was a mess if I really look into it, but the story was such a clusterfuck of weird ideas that it totally worked. Drakengard 2 just kinda sits there with a few good ideas and genuinely depressing or flat-out adult moments.
I became a woman today. I'll continue to bleed like this until the day I die. I'll protect you from now on, Eris.
Why?
I'm a man.
Oh, okay, I know what point he's making here.
You're
But...
a woman.
Nah, I mean, I disagree with I disagree with what he was saying. I think that's, like, fine.
Out of place,
it's whatever.
The tone jumps
it's a normal thing, dude.
I'll
like, who cares?
Play the game once through, then stop. The other endings are not worth playing the game 3 times. Admittedly, New Game Plus mode gives you a few extras, like being able to control all 4 characters from the start, and completing it fully allows you to play as a new breed from the get-go. But considering how much time I put into it,
I can't believe menopause doesn't exist in Drakengard 2.
But not in the way I wanted it to.
You've grown strong.
Oh, look, it's the game that I also said I would never cover. I don't know, man. Drakengard 3... It's better than 2, but it's different. He does make a Drakengard 3 video, but it's, let me see how long this is. Let's watch his now. I had his Replicant video up because I want to see how he does Replicant, because I've never watched his Replicant video. I've never watched this, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, let's go. This is meant to be quiet here, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a bit quiet, but it's fine. Why does it sound so weird? Oh, it is a bit low. Never mind. We're good.
Oh, feels good to be talking about Yoko Taro games again. Feels like it was so long ago. Now, I promised I'd look at Nier and analyse it to the best of my ability back in the end of my Drakengard 3 analysis, where
The thing is about Drakengard 3 is that I think it's better than 2, but number one, I would have to emulate it on the PlayStation 3. Emulating PlayStation 3 games is extremely hard compared to PlayStation 2. So there's that. The game is locked at 30 FPS. The story of it is pretty meh, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I don't cover Drakengard 3. If it gets like a native PC port, I might consider it, but probably not. It's not really, even without the issues, it's not really my sort of game. Yeah. Just buy a PS3. I do have a PS3. And I just don't want to go through the hassle of getting Drakengard 3 and just going to capture the card and all that. And it's just not my sort of game, you know. I would rather just go from Drakengard 1, which leads into Nier Replicant, which leads into Automata, which is what I'm doing, you know. Like, I'm going to make the Automata video eventually. That's what I'm doing. Because then it's one cohesive story.
I stated I'd take a look at it when Nier Automata got a release date. Well,
good. But what I was also going to say is that the final boss for Drakengard 3 is actually probably harder than the final boss of Drakengard 1. It's not a reason I wouldn't make the video, because I did beat the one in Drakengard 1, but Jesus Christ. Imagine the Drakengard 1 boss fight, but the camera pans away from the boss, so you can't see it. It's bad, and it's hard. When I say it's bad, I mean, like, it's really difficult. But yeah.
News, family and friends.
Glory to mankind.
I'm not gonna lie, this entire project was pretty intimidating.
Yeah, that literally happened.
When Automata's release date hit my dainty little ears, I was mixed with two emotions. Overwhelming joy.
Oh yeah, of course, this video was made before Replicant 1.22 came out, so he's playing on the OG, which is, you know, that's good.
And apprehension. For those of you new to my channel, you may not be aware of my previous Drakengard analysis videos. What relevance do they have to Nier, you limey cunt? If you'd let me finish. The Drakengard series plays an important role in the creation of the Nier universe. If you want to see the whole in-depth explanation of this, you can click these links here. Drakengard as a series wasn't overwhelmingly popular due to its average sales, at least in the West, but it developed something of a cult fan following, myself included. People were drawn in by its dark method of storytelling, and a feeling of no matter what you do, there won't be a happy ending. So of course, when Nier was revealed to be a continuation of Drakengard's ending E, which was originally a joke ending, well, it got a few eyebrows raised to say the least. Trust a director like Yoko Taro to continue the Drakengard timeline in a completely different franchise. So way back when Nier first came out, I picked it out due to curiosity. I'd heard the game was bland with its gameplay but phenomenal in its storytelling and music. I'm not one to shun a game for having less than fantastic gameplay, so I decided to give it a whirl. During the prologue, I started to have fond flashbacks to Drakengard due to the obscene amounts of blood that poured out of enemies in a satisfyingly disturbing fashion. Keep in mind, I had...
Yeah, there was the enemies in the OG Nier, oh my lord, they had loads of blood, like a crap ton. They toned it down a little bit in 1.22.
No idea these two games were linked by this point. Hell, even when this name flashed onto the screen, I didn't bat an eyelid. Mostly due to being at a time in my life where I just played a game and didn't concentrate on who made it. It was only later when I decided to Google more information about it that everything started to make sense and my head was well and truly blown. So why bring this up in the first place? Well, keeping in mind that I'm such a big fan of the Drakengard series and had no clue this was a continuation, it makes me wonder how many other people have no idea this game is connected to a different game altogether. The hints they drop at us are subtle enough that you'd miss it if you have no memories of Drakengard's final ending fresh in your brain, so hopefully by doing this video, it'll make a few people have that moment of, holy fuck, wait, what? From the get-go, Nier presents us with something strange before we even start playing. This is mostly common knowledge, but Nier was split into two games. In Japan, there's Nier Gestalt on the Xbox 360 and Replicant on the PS3. In Gestalt, you play as an older man looking after his daughter, whereas in Replicant, you're a younger man looking after your sister. The West, not being able to comprehend sexy boys...
Oh yeah, you can tell this video's aged really well because you can display shit like this on the screen and not get in trouble for it.
the West
Jesus, dude.
leaving Replicant exclusively to the
Fuck.
Japanese. But that didn't stop little old me from getting my slimy degenerate hands on it, and other than the character's age, there's honestly no difference from title to title. If you want to play as a father to a young girl, play Gestalt. If you want to play as a brother, play Replicant. The plot stays exactly the same, so don't worry about missing anything important to the story. On a personal note, I feel like playing as Papa Nier is a more compelling experience than the brother. Whilst I
Yeah,
massively prefer the design
what
to
the
Brother
fuck?
Nier compared to Gollum, the struggle of a father trying to keep his daughter alive is a much more compelling narrative than a brother and sister. Okay, so this is how I'm going to break down this video. I'll start by talking about how the Drakengard series ties into the prologue of Nier. And I'm not just talking about Angelus fighting the Queen, I'm talking about the events directly after the Queen crumbled and Angelus was shot down by the Japanese Air Force. These stories are all documented within Grimoire Nier, a book that was published exclusively in Japan, but thankfully some legends.
Yeah, so this video, God, I can't imagine having to do like research stuff about Nier without the actual translation. Yeah, like Grimoire Nier, the lore book is like, it was legit like 80% of my research for the Nier video. It was so helpful, like ridiculously helpful, and yeah, so Clem's is like doing the similar stuff that I did.
Decided to translate the whole bloody thing. So let's just take a moment to thank
Except
these
he's using
faithful
a fan translation.
After this, like my other videos, I'll start talking about gameplay changes and my general thoughts on whether or not I think it's a positive move from the original franchise, so kind of like an analysis/review. Then we'll start cracking on with the general plot after the prologue. So without further ado, let's get started. Hope your bellies are empty, because trust me, this is going to be meaty. The beginning of Nier introduces us to a post-apocalyptic city which appears to be covered in heavy snow. A title card pops up announcing that the year is 2049 and it's summer. We're introduced to a man called Nier hiding out in an abandoned supermarket, a strange book by his side. The book seemingly talks to him, but he's having none of that voodoo shit. Get out of here! Shortly after, he's alerted to danger as we're introduced to the primary antagonists. The creatures, known as Shades, attempt to attack us, but we dispose of them pretty quickly. It's now that we're introduced to Yona, a central driving force in the plot whose importance will be explained as we dive further into the game. After the Shades appear for round 2, Nier tells his daughter not to touch the book under any circumstance. Guess what happens? Guess what fucking happens? Nier fights off the gathering Shades with the assistance of the mysterious book.
I need to protect Yona.
Fucking Bayonetta, that's hilarious.
By using this book, he can use powerful magic, and during the whole introductory segment, it's a great way to get the players pumped up for powers they'll eventually receive later on in the game. But it turns out Yona was a cheeky cunt and touched the book regardless of her father's warning. An ominous black text starts to move up her body as her father calls out for assistance. This is the catalyst to the events that occur in Nier.
We need help! Please, anyone! Help! Help us!
When I had to say that Yona's original name was like derived from Jonah, I was like, hey, Jonah's gonna watch this video and he's gonna hear me say that. Yeah.
The fuck? What the fuck? I don't understand.
Alright, I'm off.
Why? Right, now before we jump into what the HE double hockey sticks is going on here, I said I'd try and explain how Drakengard links into this intro. On June 13th, 2003, a young prince named Kaim and his dragon Angelus were transported from their world of Midgard to Tokyo, taken there by a monolithic entity known as a Queen Beast in an attempt to save their own world from the Queen and its army of Watchers, Grotesqueries, Angels, giant flying demon babies, whatever they're called. They engaged the mind-destroying song of the Queen and came out triumphant, causing the Queen to break down into an element unknown to Earth's science. Angelus was also taken out by the Japanese Air Force, causing her body to slowly deteriorate into the same substance as the Queen. This particle would eventually be called Meso, otherwise known as demonic element. Shortly after this, a small minority of people within the Shinjuku ward in Tokyo started to come down with a fatal disease known as white chlorination syndrome. It got this name due to the fact that people who caught it would chlorinate, their bodies eventually becoming pillars of salt. Some people, instead of chlorinating, would turn berserk and begin attacking people. The reasoning behind this is a little, you know the drill. People who came in contact with particles from the Queen were forced into a pact with a quote-unquote god. Who this god is, no one knows, but it's assumed to be the leader of the Watchers or possibly another queen. This god gives the infected two choices: make a pact and become a mindless red-eyed monster known as a legion, or reject it and die, turning into salt in the process. So basically, you're fucked either way. So when I was talking about this post-apocalyptic city being covered in snow, that isn't snow. When an infected individual chlorinates, their body will eventually...
I had a comment on my near video that was like kind of stupid. They were like, okay, but how do you know it's salt and not actually snow? Because you can get snow in summer. And I'm like, dude, it's in Tokyo. And the game makes a point that the salt, oh sorry, that the snow is salt. Like, I don't know. It's fucking, yeah.
eventually crumble in the same fashion as the Queen Beast, their salty remains floating into the sky and eventually falling as what appears to be snow. During this whole fiasco, a wall was erected around Shinjuku known as the Wall of Jericho. This was used in order to keep the Legion from spreading around Japan or possibly the rest of the world. The government and troops, however, were alerted to a certain individual who was seemingly leading the Legion. This individual was named Red-Eye, and only 5 years after the Wall of Jericho was erected...
Okay, this is my first correction in this video. Though it wasn't one figure that was called Red-Eye. That isn't true. Red-Eye was a type of legion, basically, that had higher sentience and higher intelligence, and they were able to lead the lesser legion. It wasn't just one figure. That isn't true. But I think Clem's is sourcing his research from a fan translation, so it's probably not his fault.
Red-Eye led his berserk troops and destroyed the wall. Reports say it was destroyed from the inside, many hearing a sound that resembled...
I think it's either that or Klemps mistakenly thought Red Eye was like a non-plural, which isn't true. When they say the Red Eye, they mean like as a collective, the Red Eye, I believe.
Resembled the song of the Queen. Now, in Grimoire Near, there's a picture of Red-Eye. You may not notice it at first.
Yeah, I was actually going to include this in my video, but I forgot to. This looks like Keim. This picture of a Red-Eye, this looks just like Keim.
But there's something oddly familiar about it.
Holy flipping moly!
This hasn't been confirmed. However, the similarities are just so damn apparent,
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Red-Eye is Keim. This isn't official, remember, but considering how they never find his corpse, it's a very likely possibility. Question is, if it is my boy Keim...
I do really like this theory, though. I do. I do. I really like it.
How did he turn into Red-Eye? Is it possible to make a second pact? I guess we'll never find out for sure, unless Automata expands on this. During all of the havoc now slowly crawling its way through Japan...
Which it doesn't. Automata doesn't expand on anything in Drakengard because it's based, like, thousands of years in the future. You know, it's like Automata is like its own thing completely, to be honest. Like, it doesn't really have much connection to the prior games, as far as I remember. I'll have to when I play the game again, I'll know.
And an uneasy military alliance with America is forged, despite warnings from other countries. Through this alliance,
I mean, of course, Nier did end the world and like, cancelled out Project Gestalt, which did mean that Project Yoha eventually came to being, but they kind of gaslit themselves into thinking humanity was left, but there was no humanity at all because they all died. That is a connection.
the idea of nuking Shinjuku is brought up, and despite opinions in Japan being varied, the rest of the world seemed to be perfectly fine with reminding Japan about the overwhelming power of the glorious US of A. Kaboom! The bomb is dropped! Shinjuku's destruction is heralded as a second Hiroshima tragedy, and before too long, even more nukes are dropped all over Japan, leading the country to become, and I quote, a scorched earth. By this point, Legion has been reported as being completely wiped out across Japan, so you'd think all of our problems would be over, right? Right? Well, guess again, because by nuking Shinjuku and most of Japan, this caused the remnants of Legion to be thrown into Earth's atmosphere, making its way to China, one of the most heavily populated countries on the planet. Oh dear. As it would turn out, the disease is quite similar to a zombie infection, if that gives you a decent idea of how it works. But wait, I hear you cry, saliva frothing at the mouth. Whatever happened to Angelus? Did her body burn up as it fell to the ground? Boy, that...
Yeah, his point there of it like going into the atmosphere and going to China, I don't think I mentioned that in that. I don't think I did, and I didn't because I don't think it's that important. It really isn't. Like, it doesn't affect the wider story at all. It's kind of obvious the world went to shit after this point, because of the way that Japan was affected. Yeah, okay, it's that potent. The white chlorination syndrome was like that potent. Yeah.
That's an answer I'd sure like
Hey,
to know.
Times.
Well, I guess I have no choice, you cute little fuck. When I first saw this scene, I was positive Angelus burnt up. I mean, with the amount of dandruff that's falling off her, you'd kind of assume that for yourself, I'm sure. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Angelus did plummet all the way to the ground floor, her corpse still intact, and this was taken away by military scientists for further experiments. After many years, they finally had a breakthrough. Angelus's corpse was proof of a multiple world theory, which states there's another world in a different universe or dimension. During research on this multiple world, an attack was commenced on a top secret facility. Angelus's corpse was stolen. But by who?
Yeah,
Not
we
even
don't
the
know.
Grimoire covers it, but it states religious groups on North America were possibly behind it.
Yeah, we have
This
no
particular
idea.
line interests me a fair bit. Reporting on the incident becomes unclear and then stops completely. Why did it stop completely? I'm hoping, praying that Automata expands on what happened to Angela.
And guess what? It didn't. But that's Yoko Taro for you.
His corpse is one of the few important details that isn't covered completely within the Grimoire. I've read a theory that these two Automata characters, Adam and Eve,
Oh yeah, Adam and Eve, one of them has a tattoo of the Empire from Drakengard on them. Like the face of the Watchers. Maybe he'll
might
show
have a
it.
connection due to Eve's cult.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right there. That is literally the symbol of the Empire from Drakengard. 1 for 1.
Tattoos and both of their red eyes and draconic armor. But at the moment, theorizing is all we can do, and I don't want to date this video in any way. After this, well, there's still a lot of information I need to get across, but I'm not going to drop it all at this moment. After all, there's still a few surprises I want to keep for later, and where's the fun in just spoiling it all now? So the prologue is over, and whoa, we're taking thousands of years into the future where Papa Near is somehow wandering around. And Yona is alright? Kind of?
Hang on a second.
Where the prologue is over.
1,312. Wait. Near replicant 1.22. 1,000. 1 sec. Time skip. Amount. No, you fucking dumb AI. I don't want the dumb AI overview. I want the actual, wait. Near 1,412 years. Right, so here's the thing I've just noticed, right? In this video, or at least in this copy of the game, it says 1,312 years later, right? But I'm going to pull up a random video on the screen right now. If you go to Near Replicant, the remake, this is a random video. 1,412 years later. What? That's I don't know. That's just weird. Okay. I never noticed that. Yeah. Oh well. I'll just keep playing the video. Yeah, that's strange. I never knew that. I was like, shit, did I get it wrong in my video? Because I do remember it being 1,412, but no, in Near Replicant 1.22 it says 412.
And whoa, we're taking thousands of years into the future where Papa Near is somehow wandering around. And Yona is alright? Kind of? I mean, she still has the sniffles, but other than that, everything seems to be okay. And remember all the stuff that happened in the prologue? Well, do me a favour and forget all of that for now. No, seriously, forget all about it. I won't be revisiting it for a while. Nier explains to us that humanity is now on the brink of global extinction, and all they can do is just sit back and wait for the ticking clock of time to finish them all off. But despite all...
Terms, if you're talking about Adam and Eve's tattoos, yeah, probably. I mean, I get it. I like referring to my own things in my own writings too. It's yeah, maybe that. But with Yoko Taro, it's like sometimes it can mean things. Because he's just that sort of writer, I guess, but meh.
All of this, the places that Nier visits and inhabits don't look that terrible. The guy has a nice house, the village seems to be thriving, and the surrounding towns seem like a place I'd visit for my holidays. Is this a criticism? It's difficult to say. By painting the post-apocalypse as some fantasy medieval society, it doesn't really give us the impression that these people are on the brink of extinction. Yet I still love it. I mean, don't you love it? As you can plainly see, the game is, environmentally, much different from that of Drakengard, and this is all a positive thing, in my eyes. Clemps. Listen here, batty boy. I remember you talking shit about Drakengard 2's colourful environments. Could it be that you're biased towards that particular game? Are you a hypocrite?
Yeah, I agree.
No!
Like, for Adam and Eve to have of being connected to the Empire or Drakengard somehow would have been kind of absurd, because it's based so long and Drakengard's in an entirely different universe. So
part of a reason I'm okay with this is its change of world and, heck, franchise. My issue with Drakengard 2's sudden change in environment was down to making Midgard look more like an average family-friendly location, whereas in reality it's anything but friendly. In Nier, the location is Earth, so it would make sense the world is a little more bright, despite what Grimoire Nier has told us about what happened over 2,000 years ago. Admittedly, I love how everything looks, but you think you could turn down the glare a smidge?
yeah, look at the bloom in the OG, dude.
Kinda like to see
That is bad. Gee, especially in Seafront, look how bright it is.
Thanks. Come. So what the heck can you do in this idyllic, comfortable, post-apocalyptic hellscape? Very early on, you're given your first ever fetch quest. I know, fetch quests are kind of, what am I playing here? Flife? Cold hard reality? But what's great about these side quests is that it's exactly what they are. Side quests. They don't impact the main story, and you'll only need to complete a few for weapons, as carrying on from Drakengard tradition, you'll need to collect every weapon in the game if you want to see that sultry final ending. Despite this, I'd still recommend you do some of these. Not only will some of them make your journey a lot easier, like killing this tough to beat boar, or not so tough if you hide behind this rock like me, which will grant you an incredibly
This boar, by the way, one-shots, at least in the remake, it would one-shot you if it charges at you. It kills you instantly.
fast mount to easily traverse the wide.
And that's on the normal difficulty.
They'll also provide you with a ton of character interactions, which is where most of the humour lies in there. If you play the game without exploring the side quest, you may stumble upon a laugh or two, but the back and forth
If you play the game without doing the side quests, you've played half the game.
banter between two of the central characters never failed to put a smile on my face. Along those lines, some of them will present you with the backstories of seemingly random NPCs, one of the more popular ones being the old lady in the lighthouse. What starts off as Nia doing odd jobs like trying to get letters delivered to her, turns into a somber tale of a town trying to protect her from the harsh truth of her true love's death. Little moments like these are sprinkled delicately into the game like a bit of spice to perk up a dish. Fucking bam! I mean, what else can they throw in there? Oh, I forgot about the playthrough stopper.
Okay, hot take. Fishing isn't that bad. It's not that much of a grind. If you do the Fisherman Gambit side quest, then you're just set. You're fine. You're OP. How's Xenoblade going? Chapter 9. Chapter 9.
Friendly tip to anyone playing the game for the first time. Ignore this. Move your analog stick in the direction Nia is leaning.
That advice kind of works. Yeah. Yeah.
This will save you a lot of stress and bother, and who knows, maybe you'll actually continue your fucking playthrough. So let's go back a bit to the first side quest you get. What it does is introduce you to one of the main questing areas in the game, and it's something you'll get used to pretty quickly. This brings me on to one of my favourite parts of Nier, but also most grating. The soundtrack. When you enter the field, you're blasted with a gorgeous song which really helps bring the place to life. However, I hope you like it, because if you don't, you'll be muting your TV very quickly. The soundtrack loops, which isn't unusual. However, the songs themselves aren't very long, so if you're like me, you'll grow tired of them and eventually irritated. This isn't to say it's bad, in fact it's one of my favourite OSTs of all time, but if I was presented with my favourite meal for breakfast, lunch and dinner, I'd...
Yeah, the point he's about to make, I was going to make it in my video, but I didn't want to, like, bitch about the soundtrack. I just didn't want to, because the problem isn't with the soundtrack. The entire soundtrack section in my video is the shortest section, I think, because all I do is glaze it, because it deserves to be glazed. It's one of the best soundtracks in gaming, but There is a big problem with it, which I think he is about to say. It just is repetitive because in the same areas, the same music plays. And this song right here that's playing in the video, hang on.
OSTs of all time, but if I was presented with my favourite...
It plays in every, I think, nearly every single open world area. It's I can't listen to this soundtrack for like a while now because I've listened to it so much in the game. It gives me a headache.
Meal for breakfast, lunch and dinner, I'd grow bored of it.
Yeah.
This is only the case for a few select songs. I'm looking at you, but you'll probably understand where I'm coming from if you played the game. Thankfully, Emmy Evans' fantastic performance as one of the main female vocalists makes it somewhat okay to have the songs nailed directly into your brain. Deliriously excited to hear what she has in store for us in Automata. Of course, there's a reason why I covered all of this now.
Oh boy, and Automata's soundtrack is probably better than Replicant's in my opinion. Automata's soundtrack is fucking insane. It's crazy how good the soundtrack in Automata is.
Instead of later, because the game presents you with a fairly standard JRPG experience for the first few hours, after being told that the game was dark and soul-crushing, only to be presented with a fairly comfortable ride of no harsh turns here or there. I was wondering whether or not I was playing the right game. Rest assured, I'm positive this was intentional. Allowing the player to fall into a false sense of security before dropping them into a large vat of liquid suffering is a solid way to make sure that when the pain hits, it hits. Moving back to our lovable shriveled prune, he's still being a faithful father to his sick daughter Yona. It's up to Papa Nier to make a living doing odd jobs in order to pay for Yona's disease. What's nice about this village is sometimes when you're running through, you'll hear the villagers voice their concerns about Yona's well-being and even wish Nier the best of luck.
Hey, how's it going? You tell that daughter of yours to get better soon.
A small detail which gives lifeless NPCs a bit of, well, life. What I find really messed up about Nier making a...
Also, I didn't mention this in my video either because I didn't want to make it too much of an opinion piece. I do prefer Father Nier to Brother Nier because in my opinion, like when it comes to like fiction, I become more attached to like the fatherly stories than brotherly stories. Even though I myself am a brother I'm a big brother. I don't know. I think it's because it might be the voice acting for Father Nier, to be honest. I'm not sure. It might be. I don't know.
Living in order to pay for Yona is what happens to his counterpart, Brother Nier. In a short story called The Red and Black, it's absolutely canon that Brother
Yeah, I read this entire story out in my video.
Nier, at the age of 15, was persuaded to sell his own body to a man living in Seafront in exchange for money, whilst out on a mission to destroy
Oh, sorry, no, I didn't read the whole thing. I summarized the whole thing because it's pretty long. But yeah, I give a very in-depth summary.
Shades. The man coincidentally is part of the group sent out to dispose of them. Brother Nier takes this as an opportunity to kill the man for making him go through with the act. Sounding familiar to anyone? No? Ringing any bells?
Oh yeah, Mark, you've not got that far, have you, in my video? Yep, this happens. It's in a book. It's not in the game at all.
And Brother Nier picks up on how similar it feels killing a human to Shades. Just the kind of mindset you'd expect from a character who spawns from this particular series. This, to me at least, cements...
It's so he can get medicine for Yona. That's it. Because he was paying him to do it. Yeah.
Hence the idea that Brother Nier has the more canonical timeline. That isn't to say that Father Nier's timeline is non-canon, but the brother has a lot more weight to his backstory. You can't really imagine a naive Father Nier agreeing to have sex with a strange man for a fistful of cash. He'd probably just kill the fucker right then and there. But hell, at worst it just means one of the characters has a less fleshed out backstory, which if you think about it is the game in a nutshell. Cut out the backstory and put it in a book so old Clempsy can dig through it and fill in the blanks.
Or, hear me out, don't miss out, or don't put 70% of the story and the lore outside the game, Yoko Taro. I really don't like that about Nier Replicant. It really drives me insane, because there's some really good stuff, but half of it is just not in the game. Like, if you buy just like a copy of Nier Replicant, like a disc copy, like for like the PS4, yes, you can play it from beginning to end, but you are missing so much context by not like reading or researching these things, which is a shame because you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to. You should be able to play a game from beginning to end and know everything in the game itself. But yeah, that shouldn't be a hot take. I don't think it is.
During these introductory missions, we're introduced to an important character in the story named Popola, the leader of the village. Her twin sister, Devila, also leads alongside her, however she's usually off doing her own thing. Upon returning home after a few fetch quests, Nier tells Yona about a particular flower called a lunar tear. This flower is said to grant the wish of anyone who finds it. A fairy tale to most perhaps, but not to a little girl who would do anything to recover.
Yeah, it's a room
from her
temperature
illness.
take,
When
yeah.
Nier returns home again, he notices Yona has gone missing. Popola tells Nier to head to the Lost Shrine, a location where lunar tears are said to grow. After traversing through this slightly dull dungeon, we reach the main room, where we find Yona and are introduced to our first proper boss fight. This is a decent time to talk about the gameplay changes to Nier compared to the older titles. In Drakengard, the gameplay was very stiff and left a lot to be desired. Magic was a slight saving grace, but overall a lot of the enjoyment came from the aerial battles. In Nier, however, gameplay is solely on the ground, and compared to Drakengard, man, it's a lot more satisfying.
Yeah, but the thing is about Soulsborne though, is that it's not outside the game either, you know? There are item descriptions. Everything about the Dark Souls lore, if you play Dark Souls 1, if you read the item descriptions enough, you know what's going on. Like you know everything that's going on. Like unlike Nier, where it's like, yes, there is lore, but it's not in the game. It's outside the game, and you have to go out your way to research it outside the game. And it's, yeah. Like, I like how Soulsborne does it. Like, there are weapons in Nier Replicant, same with Drakengard, that have like stories attached to them, but they do give lore, but they don't give relevant lore really, like to the story itself. Like this, like, yeah. How does she even make it that far up? Pure determination, Jonah. Pure determination. It is a good question. I have no fucking clue how she got that far up.
Note I said satisfying and not good. For me, personally, the gameplay is serviceable. I never found myself bored of it, mainly due to how ludicrous spilling the blood of your enemies felt. Your dodge is responsive, your attacks have weight behind them, but there isn't much to do in terms of combos. What saves the gameplay is the magic system, which is properly implemented when we're introduced to our second central character, the one and only Grimoire Weiss.
Probably the best character in the entire game. It's just a shame that, again, I'm gonna keep bitching about this. I know I'm gonna keep doing it. It's a shame his backstory isn't in the game. It's so it drives me insane.
Stop! For the love of all that is holy, stop pounding me!
Not only is Weiss...
You will refer to me by my full and proper name.
Fuck you. Not only is Grimoire Weiss a legitimate good source of comedic relief, he also helps you utilize magic. See, Nier doesn't really use magic, it's more like he channels it through Weiss. Magic can range from Wicked Weave fist attacks that are shown in the opening. There are your basic magical projectiles which can be used to counter enemy magic, which opens up a whole new form of gameplay which is kind of unique to Nier. Or at least a game which practices action combat. It kinda turns into a bullet hell, which is fine. I mean, I love bullet hell games. It just definitely feels like it needs a lot more polishing. There's my personal favourite, which ironically requires
the problem with the bullet hell sections in the OG Nier is that Weiss, not Noir, Weiss, he shot his magic too slowly. He just shot really slowly. And then in Replicant 1.22, it kind of got fixed where it's a bit faster. And then by the time Automata comes around, the pod you use to fire bullets, it's rapid. It's like, it's fucking insanely fast. Yeah.
least amount of work. It just looks hella flashy and gives off the false impression that I'm good at games. Weiss, wouldn't you know it, managed to get amnesia due to being broken out of his stasis a little too roughly. A good excuse for us to gather magic instead of having all of them presented to us in the start, and it leaves for some decent plot twists along the way. When we take down the boss guardians Hansel and Gretel, we rescue Yona and escape the shrine before the door crumbles. She laments not being able to find a lunar tear, and much to Nier's horror, the black scrawl starts to slowly move up her arm, causing Yona to be bedridden yet again. Nier and Weiss have a heart-to-heart about Yona's disease, and Weiss brings up the fact that if he had means of curing her, he would. A nice little line to show players that Weiss isn't just a stick in the mud. He's a grumpy old book with a heart of gold. Nier goes to speak to Devila, who notices something interesting about our new floating friend.
Wait, you're Grimoire Weiss? Oh, that is so cool! He's the white book mentioned in the song I was singing. In the great black book, Grimoire Noir. plunges the world into chaos. The White Book, Grimoire Vice, will appear with his sealed verses. He will then vanquish Grimoire Noir and restore harmony to the world. Or so the legend goes.
Hold on. If this is the Grimoire Vice, the holy book from legend sent to defeat an ancient evil, why on earth is this your response?
Oh, that is so cool.
It's like if Big Man Jay dropped down to shame me on my
That is the
fascination
point.
on the human butthole, and all I have to say is, holy moly! Nier gets it into his head, but because Vice can essentially cure all evil as long as he has all of the scattered sealed verses, the assumption is if he gathers all of them, Yona has a chance of being cured. I mean, what other alternative does he realistically have?
Jonah, I'm not
Gives us a
even
lead, despite-
I'm not even commenting on that conversation that you're having about League. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It has slightly apprehensive attitude at one of her villages chasing shadows, so we head to a village called the Airy, a village which has closed off trade routes of other villages due to the fear of the outside world and, well,
Go away.
just being a bunch of prats, really. After being told to essentially fuck off by the village chief, we head off, but not before we're rudely introduced to one of my favourite characters in all of Taro's work.
Hands off the flowers.
Oh yeah, Kaine is my second favorite character, probably next to Neil.
That's quite the outfit. Is she a shade?
If you haven't already watched part 1, then I heavily recommend you do, or you'll be pretty lost. And
Why are
speaking
all
of part-
video essays made by Brits? Here's the thing about video essays is that I actually prefer Americans when they come to video. I don't know why. I mean, my favorite video essayist is American, but well, actually most of them are. But that's because there are more Americans on YouTube than British people. That's probably why I think that. Yeah.
One, I feel it's important to correct a couple of mistakes I made, as I don't want misinformation spreading around due to my video. If you remember the scene where I spoke about Red Eye resembling Kime, this is false. The picture isn't from Grimoire Nier at all, which proves how you should always double check your sources. Secondly,
It's a good thing I didn't encode it in my video then.
didn't plummet to the ground floor, instead she was impaled on Tokyo Tower and was retrieved from there. Also, if you were wondering who animated this fantastic new intro,
Is he
then you
gonna
must go
clarify
check
about
out the
that?
incredibly talented so Alter Base. Check him out and send. Let's jump straight back into the fray.
Is he?
At the ending of
Wait,
part
is he not going to clarify what he meant by that? Okay.
one, I left you with the introduction of a new central character, Kaine.
Take your
But
time.
before we go a little deeper into the mentality and biology of our new heroine, you may have noticed this lumbering fuck crawling over to interrupt a squabble that broke out a little while before. This colossal shade is known as Hook and has a dark connection to Kaine's past.
You're gonna pull out your teeth and cram them up your ass!
And as much as I love Kaine, sometimes the vulgarities written into the script come out a little, I think try-hard edgy is the best word to use here, though I'm sure that was the point.
Don't stare your eyes out and piss your sockets.
The fight with Hook doesn't last all that long, as Kaine uses one final burst of energy to blind the beast in one eye, causing it to slink away to tend to its wounds. Vice comments on the fact that Kaine is possessed by a shade, allowing her to wield magic. And that isn't all that Kaine keeps secret from the world. If you pay attention to some dialogue text later into the game, you'll note that people fear Kaine and mock her for her differences. What they mean by this is Kaine's hermaphroditism. Kaine possesses female and male genitals, and the game handles it in the best way possible. By not bringing attention to it at all, it's merely hinted at, only being confirmed by the director himself later in an interview. Though I should probably bring up the fact that not everything was down to Taro. The co-writer Sawako Natori played a big part in making Nier and Drakengard the experiences we received. She was the individual in charge of the script writing, and I assume Taro's direction plays a large part in the script's many dark paths, so a lot of Kaine's backstory is down to her. What's fantastic about the aforementioned interview with Taro and Natori regarding Kaine's gender is how little Taro wanted to draw attention to it. This is exactly how I believe gender and sexuality should be approached in video games or media in general. And this is definitely a personal thing rather than a definitive statement. I can see you all tugging at your collars right now. Clem, stop. Oh god, what are you doing? Fucking stop! Taro was quoted saying, "To me, Kaine being a hermaphrodite wasn't really a point of importance, since people..."
Did I use the term hermaphrodite in my video? I'm not sure if I did. I don't know. I can't remember. Because when I was researching it, I was like, is that an offensive term? I'm not sure. I don't know.
like that do exist in reality. We just don't know about them. I was actually surprised it got...
No, I did mention Kaine having male and female genitalia, Jonah. I just don't remember if I used the term hermaphrodite.
garnered so much attention after the game was released. There's a similar quote about another one of his character's homosexuality, who for now shall not be named. If we compare this to current-day BioWare, a company who proudly scream from the high heavens that their game includes LGBT characters, please believe us, oh please God believe us, the difference is obvious. If we look around, we can definitely see homosexuals, few in number they may be. I'm not trying to say don't discriminate or anything like that, just people like that exist, it's simply the way the world works. When Taro says I'm not trying to say don't discriminate, I have a feeling he's not trying to tell you to discriminate or that it's okay, it's that he's not trying to shove his opinion down your throat, and I'm massively...
I might have used the term intersex, I don't know.
appreciate that as a player. Anyways, I'm going to drag myself away from that topic, but we'll be revisiting it later when we meet another character who warranted a direct answer from Taro. After leaving Kaine by herself to recover, we head back to the village, and the story is kind of put on hold for a bit. We're sent to do odd jobs in Seafront, which in the grand scale of things is a glorified side quest hub, but it looks pretty as fuck, so I'm not exactly complaining. Things start to pick up again, we're sent to strengthen our weapons due to the increasing number of shades that are lurking in the shadows near Seafront and the village. When we reach the intended location, the scrap heap, we're introduced to a couple of minor characters, Jacob and
Actually, it's the junk heap, not the scrap heap.
I mean Gideon.
Jacob, I'm hungry.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Near is sent off to collect materials due to their mother not coming back from her scrap collecting. Reaching the end grants us a nice boss fight where it's obvious Taro hasn't fallen out of love with his fourth wall breaking just yet.
It's working!
Really, the mouth. Such an obvious weak point.
Oh heck yeah, I've played video games.
I don't think that's fourth wall breaking. Really? Isn't it? Yeah. Maybe a nitpick on my part, but I don't think that's fourth wall breaking.
It's also worth pointing out that the sealed verses are meant to be finding as a shot-in-the-dark remedy to cure Yona's disease, are coincidentally...
Hermaphrodites are biologically impossible if I recall, completely fictional and all that, intersex seems like the best time. Yeah, I agree.
...found around each boss we kill. Talk about lucky. Upon defeating the defense mechanism, we find the mother, dead, supposedly running away to live with her secret lover in peace, away from her children. I mean, can you blame her?
Mom was always so frustrated, you know? Torn between her duty to us and her heart.
We found this next to her.
It smells like her bread. It smells like her. Damn it. I'm not gonna cry if Gideon sees me like this. Damn it.
Parting from the boys and unlocking the option to upgrade our weapons with the right materials, we're sent back to the area where the village is being attacked by shades. We reunite with Kaine and Hook, who appears to be having just the best time ever. The battle with Hook is an annoyance for sure. When you use your finishing blow on certain body parts, he'll jump over to another part of the area, which means navigating this maze of a town. If you've played the game enough, you'll be able to get your way across easier, but as you can see here, half of the boss fight was spent fighting with my lack of direction. When Hook is nearing defeat, he exhales a hallucinatory gas that causes Kaine to hear a voice she hasn't heard in many years.
Kaine, it's me, Grandma.
When Kaine was a little girl, she had a grandmother. The foul-mouthed old woman was named Carly, or Curly in replica.
So I think this is in the game, this piece of lore, because it's in the novella sections of the game. So this is actually in the game.
A vulgar yet loving old lady, she protected Kaine from the cruelty of others and taught her about her inner strength and outer strength, giving her the motivation to keep pushing forward. She even made her a wreath made of lunar tears, the legendary flower that most people could live their entire lives without seeing one. But Carly had somehow achieved the impossible. They lived their lives in a strange variation of peace, with comfort at home but ostracization out in the village due to Kaine's physical differences. And as the years went on and Carly's health started to deteriorate, most of her responsibilities laid on Kaine's shoulders. However, on one seemingly normal day, Kaine returned home to see it ablaze. A large shade tortured the aging Kali underfoot as it laughed at Kaine's inability to stop it. This shade was Hook.
Why go on living anymore, Kaine?
Is that it?
Hmm?
Are you done talking?
Kaine, don't speak to your grandma like that.
You're going to stop talking now. And then I'm going to walk over to you and very carefully extend my hand, reach into your chest, and pull out your fucking heart!
After Hook is killed off for good and Kaine is close to death, Nier's voice somehow brings her back from the brink. This scene, while sweet to an extent, is definitely a good argument as to why Brother Nier would make an overall more suitable protagonist. The way Papa Nier spouts off about how he and Kaine are friends now and his general body movements come off as incredibly awkward, especially for a 39-year-old man.
Yes. You and I are friends now.
Maybe I'm alone here? I don't know, it just feels like if an older gentleman rescued me and delivered that line, I'd laugh in his face.
Wait, how old is Kaine? Hang on. Kaine age. Oh, she's 17. What the fuck? Wait. Huh? Okay, I never knew that. I thought she was at least 20. It is a little bit weird that he said that we're friends now, but yeah. It's Japan. It's Japan. I guess.
Promptly vomit.
Anyway. In Replicant, that scene is a little bit less creepy, because obviously it's younger now.
I'm picking nits. Upon rescuing Kaine, she brings up the fact that she knows a king who suffers from the Black Scrawl. I mean...
Let me double check my sources for that. Is she... There's no way she's 17. Okay, I just checked, right. So, in Gestalt, she's 20. In Replicant, she's 17. Okay, well, that's a bit better then. Okay, just had to make sure.
Who doesn't? And he and his people might have come up with a cure since her absence. So, on that note, we head towards the bizarre desert city of Facade, a city which now welcomes Kaine in with open arms due to saving one of their children from a pack of wolves back in the day. Facade is a city composed of citizens who speak a strange language and follow a few strict set of rules. Sorry, did I say a few? I meant a few fucking thousand. One of these rules is to wear a mask that covers your face. The explanation as to why is never directly stated. Maybe it was a gag that eventually turned into a gimmick. When we enter the city, we're introduced, kinda, to a character named Fira, a young girl who was sent to Facade by disgraced parents due to her face becoming disfigured due to burns. And because of Rule 32, she isn't allowed to speak due to not having land identification. I'm not sure if this rule is specifically for people living in Facade, because Nier and Frem seem to be perfectly fine having a chat if Fira guides us around the town for what seems like 10 bloody hours. After we finally stop following Fira around, we're told that the king has passed away due to the scrawl, making a lot of the journey ultimately pointless. However, there's a slight comedic scene where we find out that the Prince of Facade has gone missing in a location called the Baron Temple, and that Rule 83,348, if the prince goes missing, find him straight away, and Rule 50,527, only royalty may enter the temple, contradict each other. Kaine, coincidentally, knows of a rule that allows her to bend the rules a little due to the city being in debt to her. And so, we're off to the Baron Temple. Upon this playthrough, I noticed something familiar with the boss design. Doesn't this boss, and hell, these obstacles, remind anyone of the gargoyle cubes from the Drakengard series? A nice little reference for anyone who kept their eyes open. Completing this dungeon introduces us to another minor character, whose importance will open up more as the game continues. For now though, he serves as another excuse for a cheeky reference. Oh heck yeah.
I've played video game.
So the prince, now king, is saved. Yay! Being in debt to Nier, Nier requests they make a new rule to allow citizens to veto rules that they don't like. Yay! We can finally go to a section of the game where I'm not just recapping the story, can actually go into depth about something. Fucking yay! When Nier returns home, he has a dream. Oh boy, here we go. The dream isn't displayed to us visually, and we're instead required to read and visualize it for ourselves. Fair enough, I don't have an issue with this. However, when we eventually get to the area his dream was hinting towards the location of another sealed verse, we're introduced to the Forest of Myth. I'm imagining a few of the initiated are rolling their eyes right now. The Forest of Myth is a village in a forest. The inhabitants have all been put into a state of seemingly eternal sleep named the Death Dream. I remember being pretty stoked reaching here for the first time because I'm naturally drawn to forest levels. But much to my disappointment, the real problem with this level is how you complete it. It's a text adventure. Symptoms of the Death Dream are being put into...
That's subjective. It depends on the person. I get where he's coming from though, because these sections are fucking long. Like one of them was so long that I had to contradict myself by like not reading it out, and I was like, is the reason why I didn't read it out is because it's legit like 1 hour long of reading, and I think it was Kaine's backstory. I summarized Kaine's backstory because Kaine's backstory is 10,000 words long. I think I literally like counted it with Notepad, or not Notepad, Google Docs. Yeah, literally like around 10,000 words.
To a state of constant sleep and only being able to see and speak through text. Sayonara Woodland Adventures. The basis of this text adventure is to complete a riddle, then continue on. If you fail at said riddle, then I hope you like button mashing to get past all the same text again. Now the cause of the deaf dream is rather peculiar. I'm getting ahead of myself a little, but I feel it's important to introduce this character now rather than later. The deaf dream is being created by a colossal tree known
I'll be right back real quick. I would leave the video playing, but I'm not going to do what some Twitch streamers do and like leave it playing with no commentary or pausing. So I'll just, yeah, I'll be right back. One sec, guys. Alright, I'm back.
known as Sleeping Beauty, or at least it's a tree at first glance. Hold on, Clems, is there any relevance to these bosses and characters being named after fairy tale characters? Does this link into something? The answer to this is not exactly. Apparently the reasoning behind this was Nier's original scrapped plot, which was about worlds within picture books being real and the heroes of the game needing to defeat villainous characters that come from within the books. How this story eventually evolved into a spin-off to Drakengard is a complete mystery, but I'm happy things ended up the way they did. Anyways, back to the tree. What a lot of people don't realise is Sleeping Beauty is an incredibly ancient sentient network computer being fueled by demonic element. Its purpose is to store the history of the past 2,000 years or so. But why? I'm not entirely sure whether Sleeping Beauty's real appearance is covered by the overgrown tree or if it's the tree itself. But regardless, its existence is crucial for one of the most elusive of endings, ending E. Nier and Weiss managed to break the village out of its slumber, but this definitely isn't the last time we're going to be visiting the Forest of Myth or coming in contact with the mysterious Sleeping Beauty. When Nier returns home, he finds out something that shocks him to his core. Yona has been talking to a fucking boy, the hussy. She begs her father to go visit her new pen pal, as according to the letters, he's sick and in a lot of trouble. Nier accepts, being unable to turn down his beloved daughter. They're like a married couple, it's too cute. When we reach the location of Yona's new friend...
Wait, what? Oh, Weiss and Nier. Yeah, so in the Yoji, not in the remake, some of the dialogue conversations just had no voice acting at all, like Halo. It's pretty uncanny.
Beloved daughter. They're like a married couple, it's too cute. When we reach a location of Yona's new friend, the second we swing open the gates, all of the colour from the surrounding area is drained. To begin with, we have no real clue as to why this is the case, but the more we explore and get to know its inhabitants, the more we'll come to realise the artistic reason to make.
Oh, hell yeah. I've got one right in front of me, Velek. It's really interesting.
It this way. Something you may notice during this particular segment is what I like to think are callbacks to other games like Resident Evil or Silent Hill due to the camera changes and general creepy manor aesthetic. Reaching one particular room introduces us to another central character, and one that will eventually become a staple in the franchise itself. The young, soft-spoken boy named Emil is blind. However, he isn't blind due to a defect, he's blind out of choice. He wears a blindfold due to petrifying.
My copy of it, it took I think 2 months to get here. Yeah, but it's very worth it. It's so good. I love it.
Anyone who makes direct eye contact with him, which makes this courtyard full of statues even more creepy. This is one of the reasons why I believe the monochrome colour scheme works for the manor. It gives off a feeling like time itself has been stopped entirely, which reflects in many victims left in the courtyard, their time unfortunately stolen from them. We're sent to find Emil's butler, Sebastian, to find out more information about the letter that Emil apparently didn't send. Turns out the sender of the pen pal letter to Yona was the butler himself, which is also pretty creepy. He states the reasoning behind this was to ask for help from Nir, but Yona misinterpreted it as something else entirely. Nir accepts the butler's request to escort Emil through the shade-filled halls to a location within the manor that may hold a cure for his eyes. The library, which holds the apparent cure, also holds an enemy which looks very similar to our floating friend Vice. Grimoire Rubrum is fairly easy to take down, but it opens up a lot more questions about Vice's origins and who the book even is. If there are other grimoires, what are their functions? What is their purpose? We'll find out soon enough.
Fuck, this book is a real asshole!
Incredible! As it would turn out, the information stored within Grimoire Rubrum wasn't a cure for Emil, but more so a cure for individuals who went through the petrification process. So for now, we leave Emil's mansion. The scene we get before leaving to the village, however, is one of my personal favourites. Maybe I'm biased because it's another Kaine scene, but they allow us to see a different side to her than we have before. She empathises with his hatred of his eyes due to being ashamed of her own body in the past. It's just really well directed and hits me on so many levels. The physicality of the scene is wonderful. The way she moves her hand here is something you never expect from an individual as violent as Kaine, proving to us through a physical gesture that there's so much more to her than meets the eye. She allows Emil to touch the shade part of her body, then whispers a request into his ear, referring to the shade. He visibly flinches at this, and for now, this is all we're going to get.
Hopefully it was nothing inappropriate for a young man of his age.
The truth, hussy.
And after that amazing scene, we're sent back to the village, where Yona's sniffles send Nir on a seemingly innocent fetch quest to gather some herbs to ease her coughing. However...
Emil?
So much pressure. Oh god, there's so many of them.
So many what?
Get out. Get out of the village. The shades are coming.
It's at this stage in the game where the seemingly comfortable JRPG experience is
Hello,
torn
Jonah.
from under our feet and the suffering is slowly being drip-fed into our systems.
The hell's going on?
No time. Get everyone into the lot. Someone make sure Yona's safe.
Don't worry. I'll go and get her.
Within minutes of the shades breaking into Nir's quiet little village, a Behemoth-sized shade named Jack of Hearts breaks the protective gate and begins its rampage.
We can't let him get to the library no matter what.
I love you.
Within the library, Emil is fighting back the shades via means of petrification, but Jack isn't ready to keel over and defeat just yet. After slamming his ass into the basement, you'd think victory is all but assured, right?
Give me the key!
Right.
Fuck.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
Was that Lucio from Overwatch? Jesus. This video is in 2017. That game released, I think, in that year. Jeez.
Time to accelerate!
Dear God.
Without a doubt, this was a point in the game where I started to question what the fuck was going on. Something you may notice right off the bat is the resemblance of our main character and the Shadow Lord, leader of the Shades. This becomes especially apparent if you look at Replicant's version, which resembles the younger counterpart, and if I can speak freely, just looks miles more interesting. With this though, there's no denying that the Shadow Lord and Nier have a connection. Then with the reveal of the aforementioned Grimoire Noir, who we've met at a previous point in the game, well, it definitely makes you think, doesn't it? Vice and Noir have what I'm assuming to be a telepathic conversation where yet again, the physical acting is on point for an entire cutscene where the characters in question are fucking books.
No, I cannot. I will not.
The time has come for us to create a new and perfect world.
So the thing is about this character, one sec. The thing is about Grimoire Noir, sorry, is that everything he says is true, but his voice actor is so comically evil that everything he says, he sounds like Super Hitler. Like when he talks, everything he could say that he wants to save puppies, but the way his voice actor is, he just sounds evil all the time. So of course you're not going to listen to the guy, but everything he says is true. But yeah.
Noir tells Vice that both of the books are servants of the Shadow Lords, and since they have collected all of the sealed verses, they can fuse together to, and I quote, set free shades to the world. He even lets on to the fact that Nier finding Vice and being told to collect the sealed verses were all set in motion by the Shadow Lord. Vice, ultimately confused by the current events, begins to hear the voices of his companions calling him back, one in particular being the Oscar-worthy performance of Kaine.
Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace. How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Vice a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
The rest of them turn my stomach a little with the whole power of friendship vibe they have going on, but Vice eventually breaks free of Noir's control.
Vice!
Good to see you, Kaine. Although I don't think anyone has ever accused me of being a little bitch before.
We must unite. We must become as one.
I don't like you.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
In a final act of desperation, Noir sends an attack hurtling towards Vice, but Nier takes the blow. The Shadow Lord wins the fight and takes off with an unconscious Yona. Not only is Nier unable to fight, but Kaine is realizing time is running out for her as well, as the Shade is about to take over her body. She requests to be petrified in front of a basement door, stopping Jack from making his escape and the Shade from taking over.
I'm sorry, why does he keep calling him Jack?
Be petrified in front of a basement door, stopping Jack from making
I'm confused. Did he name his character that? Or is it a joke? I don't know.
his escape and the Shade from taking over.
No more crying, okay?
Okay.
Grow strong.
What's wrong with your face?
Never lose hope. Vice.
Spare me the goodbye, hussy. I imagine it will take more than this to kill you.
I doubt it.
Welcome to Nier, 5 years in the future after Yona's kidnapping. This is where the game really comes into its element, and it's a shame because I know for a fact many people dropped it before this point. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering why Papa Nier is now wearing dirty briefs on his head, and the honest answer is, they kind of make him look cool. Maybe they had no idea how to differentiate this Papa Nier with the time skip version. Again, this is something Replicant did much better than Gestalt.
Wait, let me listen to that again.
They kind of make him look cool. Maybe they had no idea how to differentiate this Papa Nier with the time skip version. Again, this is something Replicant.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, because he literally, Gestalt Nier looks the exact same in before and after the time skip beside his clothing. Meanwhile, in Replicant, he actually, he grew up, so yeah, it makes sense.
Did much better than Gestalt. Now the game has changed its motive. Instead of hunting for a cure for Yona, we're hunting for Yona and a cure for Kaine. Before Popola hands us a letter from Emil stating he may know a cure for Kaine's petrification, Nia brings up the fact that it's as if Popola hasn't aged a day since the first time he met her. But she brushes it off as an embarrassing compliment. Surprisingly, this is a pretty sly little nod to events that will later unravel. Upon reaching Emil's mansion for the second time, he tells us he's found some information about a room in the manor called the Planning Room, which might be able to grant Emil the power to harness all forms of magic, which can not only revive Kaine, but might be able to grant him the ability to cure his eyes. I also feel like it's a good point to bring up how on earth magic is even a thing in this universe, as I forgot to bring it up in part 1, when I brought up the fact that Angelus's corpse released a particle into the world known as demonic element. Well, by harnessing demonic element, scientists were able to develop magic. Note how a lot of the magic used in the game is blood red, just like Angelus herself. We're led to the courtyard where the secret entrance to the manor is revealed, and hello? Well, this is getting more and more suspicious by the minute. Turns out the manor was a front this whole time. Back in the era after the Queen Beast fell, a group of who I assumed to be scientists and military personnel were involved in using demonic element in order to make weapons to combat the waves of Legion that was slowly spreading across the map. The method they used to make these weapons, however, were immoral. 2 human children, codenamed Number 6 and Number 7, were experimented on in order to make this perfect weapon. Eventually, Number 6 was a supposed success, but due to leaving her human heart within the finished product, she went berserk, almost destroying the facility in the process. The human child, Number 7, was quickly given the ability to petrify anything that came in contact with his eyes, allowing the skeletal beast to be kept out of harm's way. Number 6 was named Halua, and was Emil's one and only sibling.
My sister. Thank you, Halua.
Good God. Welcome back, Emil. You've been through a lot.
But my body.
Yeah, I know.
His voice is so bassy, Gestaltner is. I've just realised the final part of this video is 47 minutes. Jesus, when I finish that next stream.
I can't stand to be with you when I look like this.
I mean, it makes sense.
What did I tell you? We're here for you, no matter what.
Alright, before we end stream, I will put that one into my watch later, play this music, and then I'm going to finish this bit of the script. Let me do that real quick. Let's see. I use ad block on YouTube now. I mean, I always have done, but YouTube's doing this thing where they make your video lag at the beginning, so you have to like wait like a few seconds before it starts. It's pretty weird. Yeah, they're really bad. And they're getting worse. Yeah, 2025 has been really bad for like corporate shit. Like a lot of Xbox employees got laid off too recently, which is a massive shame, but that's just the industry. And then YouTube's getting worse with its ads, and Twitch was also getting worse with its ads too. And they're fighting back against ad blockers, and it's just a mess. It really is. Yeah. Alright, I think that's all I'll do for today. Not the scripts, the streaming. I need to take a break from scripting too. Right, let me make sure this is saved. Done. Right. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of progress today with the scripts. Yeah, it's good. Right, let's see. Oh, I see Velek joined the Discord. That's cool. Can't wait for the video. I've been loving all your content. I appreciate that, Sunder. I appreciate that. Is that a Kenshi profile picture? I believe it is. Good taste. Yeah, a lot of progress on the script today. A lot of progress. Yeah, this one's going to be a bit different from my usual stuff, but it's still like a massive, not that massive, but it's still a big video essay. But it's got a shit ton of editing, this one has. Yeah, beep from Kenshi, yeah. Let's see. Right. So how long have I been live for now? 2.5 hours. Yeah. So I think I'll end the stream right about now. Sorry, Sunder. I think you came in just as the stream was ending, but the VODs are always up on my channel. They have a playlist. And I usually stream here and there. But yeah. Right, let's see. What could I end this stream on? What song? I don't know. This is the part where I have to like find a song to end the fucking the stream on. No, not this. Let's play some. I always have to play copyrighted music at the end because that means I can like remove it at the end too. And nothing will get interrupted. That's the hack. You play copyrighted music at the very end. Yeah, okay. Alright. I will go ahead, save this, do this, and then do this. Yes. And then I will do this, and I will do this too. I'm going from 70 to 50 and now behind me wants me to go faster. Careful, Jonah. Don't crash. Alright, peeps. We're end the stream right about now. I'll see you when I see you. As always, if you guys want to stay up to date with when I stream, Discord's in the description below. You can join there. I stream here and there very, very randomly. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me occupied whilst I'm scripting. Won't be long now until this one's done. Won't be long at all. Ending, indeed. Alright, let's put this music on. Now I want to do this song. This is the part where I like stick around and like. Hang on. Let's see. This song will do. Beast in Black. Shout out to those guys. Not that they need it. Alright. Okay. Stay safe, peeps. I'll see you when I see you. Join the Discord, etc, etc, etc. Bye-bye. Mwah.